have that extra mile. And thinking critically about science by thinking forward and being humble enough to accept contradicting opinions and thoughts. That's an amazing trait. Who said that? I don't have a name on that. Is that Caroline? Caroline, did you say that? Thinking critically about science?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize. Yeah, no, that was mine.
Yeah. And so being humble enough to accept contradicting opinions and thoughts, that is the best part of collaboration. That's where ideas and inventions come from. When someone challenges our views, it's no form of disrespect or any kind of insult. It's actually a jumping point to new ideas, new innovations. And so having that perspective is key when you're working with other people. That's awesome. Thank you so much. You guys did great on that. Does anybody have any questions or even really notice something that showed up that you didn't think about adding to your brand? I asked you that on the last one, but anything else that anyone wants to share off of mute?
Actually,
Yeah,
I have a question.
Okay, Yan.
Yeah, sorry. I have a question. Being humble and being aggressive, I'm not sure, because aggressive, that means proactive sometimes, right? Is being humble sometimes is, maybe people can view as less proactive. I don't know, maybe I'm asking out of scope
Well,
question here.
it's an interesting question. So everybody views humility differently or a little differently. It depends on the context. So humility doesn't mean that you step back and you're not proactive. It means like that you don't actually treat people as if they're lesser than, from my understanding of humility. Like you value everyone's opinions. You go in listening to understand and not just to be understood. That's my understanding of humility. And then assertiveness, it's just, did you say assertiveness? Was that the other one? Yeah,
Yeah.
when you're assertive, it's just you've already taken the time to be intentional about what you want and you're going for it. So I don't think there's a comparison between humility and aggressive or assertive. It's just you respect everyone and you value their opinions, yet and still it's not going to slow down where you're going. You have your eyes on the prize, you're heading in that direction, you're receiving, different input and different ideas and perspectives, and you can receive them, but you also, because it's your brand, you're empowered to use them or not. You're empowered to incorporate them or not. Is that helpful, or is that what you
Yeah,
were
it's not
asking?
helpful. Yeah.
Okay, and then there was someone else.
Yeah, that was me. So I kind of had a question based on some of these statements. So in our little breakout discussion, I believe it was Manish, but he has almost like he uses just like one word as his brand. And it was like, I apologize if I shouldn't have shared it, but it was a good one. It was
Dependable.
just presence. And
Mhm.
he almost used it as like a mantra of like, it was easier to remember. So I'm wondering if almost are these branding statements almost too long? Like, would it be more impactful to have like one word for yourself in addition to like, the brand statement?
Right. So that's a great question. Thank you so much for asking that. So there's differences. There's the brand statement. You can have a slogan. You can have a tagline. You can have a catchphrase. You can have it all, and it's actually going to bring us right into our next section. So thank you so much, Carolyn. So they aren't too long, just like the one for AstraZeneca. It addressed those three things. So sometimes if you say presence, it's powerful, but you may have to have some other context with that. Because I don't know if you're going to be a mentor or if you are my workout coach or if you know what I'm saying? So presence, after they know you, after your brand is out there and they hear presence, like Nike, if my brand slogan was just do it and no one knew who I was, they're like, just do what? Just cook dinner? So there has to be some context around it. So a brand statement is different from your slogan or your catchphrase or your tagline. Does that help?
Yeah, no, that's really helpful.
Awesome. Okay, so Jada, will you clear these amazing statements for me as I go to the next slide? Thank you so much. All right, so like I said, Caroline, you just put us right into where we're going next. So going back to that proposition, it brings us back to slogans and taglines. Yes, Caroline. All right, so a lot of big names have taglines. Like I'm going to say a few, and I want you to use the chat and go ahead. Let me turn off my annotation tools. And then I want you to go ahead and in the chat tell me who it belongs to, right? So if I say, ba da ba ba ba, I'm loving it. In the chat, tell me, yes, McDonald's, easy. If I say the happiest place on earth, who are you thinking about? Disney. See how fast you guys got that? All right, what about, are you in good hands? Wait, let me say, are you in good hands? Allstate. Absolutely. And last but not least, never leave home without it. Does anyone know about that one? Yep, American Express. Thank you so much, Kirsten. So these are catchphrases or taglines. So we have our brand statement that encapsulates who we are, what we do, what we provide, how we're unique. So we have that to give context to our taglines and our catchphrases. So also in that chat, I want to see, just so we can prove how impactful having a tagline or a catchphrase is, go ahead and tell me some that you already know. Let's see, what taglines stand out that you know already that we can share with everyone? Someone might say eat fresh for Subway, right? Just do it, Nike. Thank you so much, Yan. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more. Awesome. Thank you, Cabret. Right? Anybody else? So while people are adding those into the chat, it's a great thing to do to go ahead and make a catchphrase or a tagline like presence. So Manish, yours was presence. Could you share with us, give us some context about that? I know your group got to hear it, but we would like to hear about presence. Oh, got milk. That's really good. Made with love. Thank you so
Sure.
much.
So the context around that was I'd heard from one of the leaders, and it was about be present. So one other thing is with the COVID pandemic, where everything has gone virtual, it's very easy to sign off when there is a meeting which has nothing to do with what you do, or has no context to or relevance, and sometimes you get invited to those meetings, and the whole point over there was be present. You never know where the opportunity strikes, right? So it's all about being proactive, seeking those opportunities. And the way I position my career is or work is not, it's not a job. It's more like a personal business. It's like a small business. So the more work I get, it's more business I get. And the only way you do is looking out for those opportunities and by being present at each and every meeting, whether it's relevant or not. So I don't push to be invited at meetings where I don't need to, but when somebody thought that you need to be present, then be present. And that's the mantra around being present.
Awesome. That's beautiful. And that speaks a lot. It's about being genuine and showing up authentically and being present, and even outside of our business lives, when you're with someone and if you're looking at your phone, are you present? Does that put off the perception that you are with them and paying attention? So that means a lot. Thank you for sharing that, Manish.
Sure.
Awesome.
Can I just add on that? I'm so sorry.
Yes,
I really
please.
like it, what Manash said, that just to treat your job is like treat your work as your job. I don't know what's upside way, but it's like you are doing your own business. You are like your own captain of the ship. So I really like that. So that I feel I'm more empowered in a way. So just to share with you, thank you.
Yeah. And Manish, did you want to say that phrase again? I think how did you say it again?
So and I'll give a little context around where that came from. So in my past life, I used to work as an auditor. And when you audit, nobody likes you. So you have to do your job. You have to bring out, it's like the gaps in what you do. And therefore you wouldn't have repeat customers, right? So it's like you're one of those, like a necessary evil. You know why you're doing your job. And I changed the thinking around it, is the more audits I get, the more service or repeat customers. And how do I do that? So I changed my function from being an audit to internal consulting, and helping them, it's like be ready for health authority inspections of those. This was some. So yeah, to answer your question, it was, rather than looking at my job as work that is assigned, I look for it as getting more business, like us running your own small business. And the more work you get, the more successful you become, and therefore looking out for opportunities constantly in order to do that.
I like that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to share that, Manish. All right. So as we see that we have all of these taglines that live rent free in our brains, and we, they're memorable, and we want our brands to be memorable to people, you may consider having a tagline or a catchphrase or that one powerful word like Manish, right? So in front of you, we have 4 slogans or brand statements from very successful business owners. And I am going to see if you guys can figure out which catchphrase or slogan belongs to what worker. So using those annotation tools again, go ahead and click on annotate and click on the stamp. Let me know which phrase, which one of these belongs to someone who is a social media marketing consultant. Which tagline belongs to a social media marketing consultant? Oh, you guys are fast. All right. I have 1 person, 2, 3. Yes, everybody knows it's half geek, half marketing, 100% social nut. That encapsulates the business of social media marketing, right? All right, so Jada, could you clear those for me? What about, which one of these belongs to an event planner? Which one of these belongs to an event planner? Yes, sophisticated, authentic, timeless. Excellent. All right, Jada, I'm ready for you to clear those. You guys see, so because of the clarity, you guys know exactly who these belong to. What about a motivational speaker? Let's see if I can get you guys a little more. All right, 100% of you picked, I believe in you. Now you must believe in yourself. But actually, it's not. It's time to unleash your epicness. So what that means is that, hey, you may need to add some more. This person needs to add some more clarity to their statement, because it could be a motivational speaker, but it belongs to a personal trainer. That actually belongs to a personal trainer. So if you have a split, or if people don't understand what your words are as far as your catchphrase or your tagline, that simply is data. It's like, no worries, this is feedback for me to know I need to add some more clarity to my catchphrase. So going back to what Caroline was asking, is a brand statement too long? No, it gives context to what you have. And now we're going to say, just do it. And we know that we're talking about this brand of athletic wear. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. It needs to be very specific, especially when you don't have a lot of context behind it. All right. And so just to add a little more clarity, right now you guys are seeing a picture of an iceberg, right? What does this have to do with personal branding and impact? And this is going to go back to Cabret's question that we had earlier. What does this iceberg have to do with personal brand and impact? Anybody can come off mute and share.
So, yes, this is Letitia. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I've seen this before, and I think let me turn this off, sorry. It's about showing qualities that people can see from the outside, but you have a lot of hidden qualities and talents that are under the surface, and you need to be able to bring those to the top.
Yes, ma'am. You can take over this course. Yes, ma'am. You hit the nail on the head. It's about those observable behaviors that are above the waterline and those that are below. So going back to what Cabret was asking about, our values and our mission and vision, our values are usually not what people see first. Above the waterline, people usually see maybe your age, your communication style, your manner of speech, how you dress. Those are things that people know as soon as they meet you. They see you and they make their perceptions based off of that. But just like this iceberg, most of us, our values, the most important things about us are below the waterline, things that people cannot see. And like Letitia was saying, how can we bring what's under the waterline above the waterline? Right? So those things are like your values, your education, your culture, your why. When I was in one of the breakouts, we were talking about, but why? You keep asking yourself, but why? And you get to that nugget of, why am I doing what I do? And how does it stand out above the rest? So how can we get that to come above the waterline? The answer is your packaging. your online presence, social media. And I know we have mixed feelings about it. Some people love it, some people hate it, but for all intents and purposes today, we are going to use it as a tool. Your online presence is almost, if not more important than your face-to-face presence, because people Google you before you meet them. People are going to go and check you out, wonder who you are, and get an impression about you before they even hear what you have to say face to face. So it's super important that you manage your online packaging in such an intentional way. Like if you use Facebook, let that be set on private if it's for your family and friends, and then all of the other platforms are for your brand, right? Because maybe you don't want everyone to see your niece's quinceañera or the birth of your baby or your wedding. So those things have to be private, and that's common sense. The other part of it is once it's out there, it's probably never going away. So when in doubt, just don't post it, right? So as we're building your personal brand, people want to see consistency. People want to see that authenticity come out. Those values have to come out online. So your mission and your vision and your values, this is where you get them to come out. So on paper, or if someone just meets you for the first time and they get the surface, the above the waterline you know, what can you do about that? There's not much. But when you add that packaging of your online presence, that's when you can add your values. You can share things that show how much you care about the animals that you're taking care of, that show that your mission is to make sure that people aren't testing on animals without taking into consideration their health and well-being and things like that, right? So make sure that also when you're sharing, if you are working for someone, that you know their guidelines and what it means to have their label or their brand or their logo on your social media or on your online presence. So make sure you know those guidelines and keep that in check. So the question is, what do your stakeholders need to see in you, hear from you, and feel about you? In your workbook, there's a place for you to fill that out. We don't have time today, but going back to Cabret, you know, your mission and vision, that's what they need to see and hear from you. Your values, that's what they need to see when you're showing your package online, on that online presence, right? They need to feel that you're trustworthy. They need to feel that you are who you say you are, because if not, all of your hard work will fall apart when they realize who this person presented themselves as online is not who they are in person. It's not who they are in the workplace. It's not who they are on paper when we're looking at the books, right? So that's what your stakeholders need to see. I'm going to give you, we only have 4 more minutes left. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes just to really quickly write, what do your stakeholders need to see in you that will show them that you are true to your brand? What's something that they can see in you that makes you true to your brand? And if you have time, write what they need to hear from you. They need to hear that you're doing the research. They need to hear that you have boots to the ground doing X, Y, and Z. What do they need to hear from you to know that I'm true to my brand? I didn't just post that on social media. I didn't just send that email and take my hands off the wheel. Or even like Manish said, I didn't just invite everybody to my meeting and they didn't even need to be there. I took the time to see and honor people's time and decide you need to be here and you need to be here. Everybody else, it can really be a text message or an email, right? So what do they need to feel from you or feel about you, that you care about them, that you respect their time, that you have amazing character and integrity? So go ahead and just make those notes, because guess what? At the end of the day and at the end of the session, you have action planning to do. You know, what do I need to change about the things that I'm doing to make sure my stakeholders keep that high interest and still want to share their power to help me reach my goal? So take that time to write what they need to hear about you, hear from you, you know. And then it brings us to our last P on the cups of 2 minutes, which is perseverance. You know what? Obstacles are going to come up and we have to deal with them. But resilient people, despite being knocked down, they get back up and they decide, I'm going to come with more power by being clear about who I am. My message, my brand has to be clear. People have to have no doubt in who I am. I have to have consistency, who they see me as online and in person, on the phone call and the email, it's all the same. This is the Taneshia they're going to get no matter what. And then that constancy. Are you constantly visible to these people? Are you constantly visible to your stakeholders and to the people you're marketing to? Right? That goes back to the camera. People are tired of being on camera because we've been remote working so long, but I know that they have to see me. I know that I have to keep hearing ba-da-ba-ba-ba. So I'll keep going to McDonald's or eating fresh or we're asking where's the beef or whatever. I'm going to stay in their face. They're going to keep hearing presence like Manish. They're going to keep hearing just do it. They're going to keep hearing these things. I have to have constancy. If I say I'm going to put my blog out every Monday I need to have my blog out, right? I need to be true to who I say I am. That's why in the beginning I said, it's so important that you are genuinely who you are. You're representing who you really are when you represent your brand, because then it'll be easy because you're just being you. And that's why it's called your personal brand, because it's personal to you, right? So now I just want to say, now that we have our 5 Ps, we have identified our target audience. We know what makes us unique. We have our statement, our brand statement. We know that our packaging needs to be consistent. And we have perseverance. We have the 3 Cs to help us have that perseverance that we need. You know, what are you going to do differently today? What action are you going to take? Jada, can you go ahead and put the 10 golden rules link in the chat for us so that they can have those 10 golden rules to those 5 Ps? And that'll even help you decide, you know, where does my mission fit in my packaging? Where does my vision fit in my packaging? All right, thank you so much, Jada. So just as your exit ticket, could you pop one thing into the chat that will tell us, one thing into the chat that you will do differently, or one action that you will take straight away from today's training? And then you will be free. Oh, you know what? I am not telling the truth. Jada actually has a link to a feedback survey that she's going to put into the chat. And that's for you just to let us know what you think about the training. Was it what you needed? It helps us, you know, tailor our trainings to exactly what you need. If you needed something more specific, or was it right on the dot? Right. Okay. So Amanda says she's going to speak up more. All right. Thank you so much. And Yan says set meetings with my manager's boss. Awesome. And you know, Jada, I think, hold on. Jada, if you go back up to the very top of our chat, it's in there. I'm just hoping Jada find that link for our survey. And I'm going to hang around for a minute or two afterwards if anybody has any more questions, concerns, or comments. I really appreciate your time. I thank you all for coming. Let me see, let me make sure.
And if
Okay,
you guys need to, I can send the link out via email.
The survey link?
Yeah, that's no
Okay.
big deal.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you so much. All right, and Shayla says, emphasize what makes me unique. Yes, and like I was saying in one of the breakout rooms, what makes you unique, all you have to do is keep asking yourself, why? Why am I doing this? And you'll say, because of this. But why? Well, because I really admire that. Well, why do you admire that? Well, because it really makes me feel blah, 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 blah. When you keep asking your why until there's nothing else left, that's where that golden nugget is. And that's where you can say, this is how I stand out. My compassion comes from this, and this is how it shows up. I'm not just telling you I'm compassionate. I am showing you by doing X, Y, and Z because blah, 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 blah. Okay. Try to remember my brand when in meetings. Yes, making sure that you are out there representing yourself. And all messages left. Oh, okay, that's Jada. Okay. All right. So that link is going to be emailed to you about the feedback. If you have any questions, I'm going to hang out, but I appreciate your time. I thank you so much for your interactivity, all your contributions. I appreciate you. You are free to enjoy the rest of your day. If you're not sure how to do that, there is a little red bottom at the bottom, a little red button at the bottom of your screen that says leave. You can click that. And then also at the top right-hand side, there's a little red X. You can click that to leave. All right, you guys are free to enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jada.
This was great.
You're welcome, Cabret. You're welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Have a
so
good
much,
weekend.
Jada. Thank you. You too. Yes, enjoy your weekend, everybody. You're welcome, Yan.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, ma'am.
So, you know, I feel a little bit depressed today because yesterday I was in a meeting when I presented something, someone kept interrupting me. Then I was getting very emotional. So I said, stop interrupting me. So I'll get your input later on. I knew my tone was was not polite. And then I sent that person apology after the apology email, but that person didn't reply to me. So I don't know. I just couldn't get rid of my guilt.
Okay. So, and it's perfectly fine because it's your brand, it's you. So are you able to see that person face to face at all? Or are y'all completely?
I try to see that person, but I don't think she wants to see me anymore. So I just feel so guilty. I don't know how to get rid of this guilt.
Okay, so a great way to do that is to actually, be very specific in how you communicate with her. So if her name, well, her name is Tanesha, Tanesha, about yesterday, I was in the zone. I wasn't paying attention to how sharp my voice was, but it wasn't my intent. I was just trying to stay focused. It was not personal. Please forgive me.
Okay.
If we could talk about it, that would be great. I just want to make sure that our communication is still intact. Making sure that you leave the door open for communication and that they know it wasn't personal. Because a lot of times when we react to people, it's not about that person. It's about what we have going on. And so if you just remind them of that as a teacher, when my students come in and they're rambunctious, I know they're not saying, let me make Tanesha mad. It's something that went on. Maybe they didn't have breakfast or maybe they had too much sugar. It's not about me, so I don't take it personal. So you can remind her, it wasn't personal. I was in the zone. Please don't take it personal. That wasn't me representing myself, bringing my best self forward. But, please going forward, know that it wasn't personal.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel
You're
much better.
welcome.
I'll do that. Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome. You have a great
job.
weekend.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. All right.
Hello.
Hello.
Wrap up and say that I thought that went really well, and everyone
Awesome.
very interactive and engaged. So, yeah.
Okay,
And I was
great.
just wondering if you could send me the recording after.
Yeah, so I can't do that, but I will get with Sarah. Yeah, let me pause. Jada, can you stop the recording, please?